from the rubble after more than 25 hours trapped. This dramatic footage, filmed on Tuesday, shows the conditions under which rescuers are working. Dark, dangerous, but the result here, a life saved. Al Jazeera has obtained new footage of the moment the earthquake hit a Christian leadership meeting.
There's the earthquake I told you we're going to have. That's there.
The carnage it caused seen firsthand by New Zealand's Prime Minister on Wednesday.
All New Zealanders have a piece of our heart in Christchurch. All of our lives are touched by this event. A friend or a family member who lives there, a time spent studying or a memorable experience there. We feel connected to your suffering. Your tragedy is our tragedy. Today I want Christchurch to hear this message. You will get through this. This proud country is right behind you, and we are backing you with all our might.
As if conditions weren't already tough enough, concerned that aftershocks could bring more buildings tumbling down. This hotel, one of the tallest buildings in town, leans precariously to one side. Each new sway of the ground, and on Wednesday there have been many, brings fears it will fall. This building is typical now of so many in Christchurch. A real mess. You can see the walls have been ripped off, rooms exposed, rubble on the ground. It was actually hit by the more minor earthquake in September and was being restored after that earthquake when yesterday's hit. And yesterday's, I'm afraid, finished it off. Out of town too, the fort clear. Beautiful tourist drives, now rock-strewn assault courses. In the city, everyone affected. Water, where available, must be boiled. Half of all homes without power. Those that can, leaving. Christchurch Airport reopen, but packed with people desperate to get out. New Zealand is one of the least populated countries on Earth, famous for its wide open spaces. The terrible irony here, that this quake hit one of its most crowded places at one of its busiest times. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Christchurch.
Hello, this is Al Jazeera, and these are the stories making headlines. A Libyan plane reportedly carrying Colonel Gaddafi's daughter has tried to land in Malta. Our correspondent in Valletta says the plane was ordered to turn back. This comes as a Libyan army general told Al Jazeera that an Air Force pilot refused to bomb the city of Benghazi, choosing instead to eject from his plane. He said his forces are backing the anti-government protesters. It's a sign that the army may well be turning away from the Libyan leader. And Italy is describing reports of 1,000 killed in Libya as credible. On Tuesday night, Gaddafi vowed to fight to his last drop of blood, but Italy's foreign minister says he's lost control of the east of the country and is warning of an exodus of biblical proportions. Nouri al-Masmari was part of Muammar Gaddafi's inner circle. He's told Al Jazeera why he deserted the regime.
Now what is happening in Libya is genocide. It's mass killing. I mean, come on. How? I mean, either you are a diabolic man that you stay with this man, or either you are a human being and get out. And that's what we have done. The only thing we are going out and we are joining our people. And we will fight with them. We don't care. We die today, we die tomorrow, we die the day after, but one day Libya will be free. And we say our souls, our blood is sold for Libya.
Now, 7 members of Yemen's ruling party have resigned over the violent attacks on protesters in that country. 2 pro-democracy activists were killed and more than 10 others injured in clashes overnight. Witnesses say armed government supporters opened fire on the demonstrators in the capital, Sana'a. The US has praised Algeria's decision to lift the state of emergency in the country. That's been in place for the nearly 20 years. The government's hoping the move will appease the demonstrators who are still protesting weekly in the capital, Algiers. The cabinet also approved measures aimed at reducing unemployment. And search and rescue teams are still looking for about 300 people in New Zealand, still missing after the earthquake that shook Christchurch. At least 75 people were killed. Those are the main stories here on Al Jazeera. The news continues after People and Power.
everyone, this is People in Power and I'm Summer El-Shahad. On today's programme, blood and dust.
The aim of this helicopter isn't to fix you, it's to keep you alive. And they do that by trying to keep everything working, by treating the body as a container, making sure it doesn't lose more liquids, and if it has lost too much, trying to replace them quickly. Trying to reduce the shock, trying to address pain, and trying to ensure that they contain the body so it can cope by staying alive.
This summer, the US plans to start reducing its troop numbers in Afghanistan, a sign many hope that NATO's war against the Taliban will one day end. However, no one is under any illusions that that will happen soon. And in the meanwhile, the number of combatants and civilians killed and wounded is growing. Few people understand what this means in reality better than the medevac personnel who helicopter out across the country to pick up casualties, often under fire themselves. But what is it like aboard one of these units? Veteran freelance cameraman Vaughn Smith spent 2 weeks embedded with the paramedics of the US Army's 214th Aviation Regiment. He came back with footage that reveals both the shocking consequences of war and the remarkable skill, dedication and even-handedness of those providing care. Where we weren't able to get permission to show the faces of the injured, we have obscured their identities. Some of the images you're about to see are deeply disturbing.